This ultimatum PK supposedly gave her way back at the beginning of their relationship about her career. So you've got the current fight, potentially over her earnings from the career she has now.
And this past story about potentially giving up a different career for the relationship in the first place. Lisa Vanderpump. Reality T reporting on a People interview where she talked about her, quote, maddest moment on RHOBH.
I mean, that was basically the end of their friendship right there on camera. Kyle showing some love on Instagram after Morgan's ACM Awards appearance. Well, and Morgan recently shared quite a bit about her health struggles. Paige DeSorbo. She was talking about her ex, Craig Conover, and his reported new romance with Natalie Buffett. Every guy she breaks up with immediately dates a blonde after. RHONY is on an indefinite pause. No solid plans for season 16. An insider told Page 6 they believe there's still life in it. Yeah, that insider mentioned potential recruits are worried. Worried about, like, ruined marriages, their kids' lives ruined, their businesses ruined.
Wow.
There's a bigger strategy shift happening at Bravo.
Maybe. And then Shay Silva from the rebooted cast actually addressed the rumors on Instagram.
Teresa's youngest, Audriana, who's 15 now, mentioned on Teresa's podcast she's interested in. We also found out she's planning to go to the University of Miami. We've got Michelle Saniei and Scheana Shay from The Valley versus Tamra Judge and Teddi Mellencamp from OC in Beverly Hills. Tamra said Michelle sucks the air out of every scene.
Ouch.
She clapped back on Instagram.
And she specifically addressed the Botox comment.
And then Scheana Shay jumped in to defend Michelle.
And she hinted there's more to the story.
Yeah, so in this video, we'll be talking about two main things, really. First, this idea that PK might try to get some of Dorit's Real Housewives money.
And second,
this ultimatum PK supposedly gave her way back at the beginning of their relationship about her career.
Okay, let's start with the money part. That sounds complex.
It does. So there's an attorney, Ronald Richards. You know, he often comments on these celebrity cases, like Erica Jane's.
Ah, yes. I know who you mean.
Well, he's raised the possibility, just speculation at this point, mind you, that PK might actually make a claim on Dorit's Bravo earnings.
And his reasoning.
It seems to boil down to PK's own financial history. Richards pointed out PK's past bankruptcy, reports of gambling debts, things like that.
Compared to Dorit's income.
Exactly. Compared to her pretty consistent salary from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which she's been getting since, what, 2016? A very visible income source.
Yeah. Richards actually said something like, Dorit's salary is highly visible and PK has passive investments.
Passive investments? What does that even mean in this context? Could they be marital assets too?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But the focus seems to be on her active earnings from the show. It ties into this idea of community property.
Okay, explain that a bit. How does it apply here?
So generally in places like California, assets and income earned during the marriage are considered owned by both spouses. Community property.
Right.
Richards suggests that Dorit's salary, maybe even aspects of her housewife's brand or intellectual property developed during the marriage.
Could be considered part of that shared pot.
Potentially, yes. It's not like a house. It's trickier. But the income stream itself is definitely something lawyers look at. And there's even a slight chance, again speculation, that if PK shows he doesn't have the funds for his own legal fees,
Dorit might have to pay for his lawyers.
It's possibility in some divorce cases, yeah, if there's a big income disparity. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. That's just talk for now.
It's important to remember, though, what Dorit is asking for in her filing.
Right. She wants sole legal and physical custody of the kids, Jagger and Phoenix.
And she's asking for spousal support from PK.
Which kind of runs counter to the idea that he'd be seeking her money, but divorce can be unpredictable.
Definitely. Okay, so let's shift to this other story, the ultimatum.
Yeah, this apparently happened much earlier in their relationship. Remember, they've technically been separated for a little while now.
Right, and this came up, I think, after PK made some comments criticizing things Dorit had said about him.
So Dorit talked about this in an interview. She said that early on, PK basically gave her a choice.
A choice between what?
Between him, the relationship, and her career at the time. She had her own business, right? Factories overseas, lots of international travel involved.
Wow.
She quoted it directly, saying, it was either this relationship or this career.
And obviously she chose the relationship.
She did. She said her heart told her PK was her future, the right choice to build a life with. She even said she'd make the same choice again.
That's a strong statement.
It is. But what's interesting, and maybe a little contradictory, is that Dorit apparently also mentioned feeling PK wasn't always that supportive of her housewife's career later on.
So he wanted her to give up one career, maybe didn't fully champion the next one.
It raises questions, you know? about expectations versus reality in the relationship, especially with fame involved, how support works or doesn't work.
And this all comes out now as they're divorcing, amidst reports of financial issues, maybe losing their home.
And, of course, the backdrop of the alleged infidelity, the pictures of him kissing Scheana wall, which seemed to precipitate the divorce filing itself.
So you've got the current fight, potentially over her earnings from the career she has now.
And this past story about potentially giving up a different career for the relationship in the first place. Lisa Vanderpump. Reality T reporting on a People interview where she talked about her, quote, maddest moment on RHOBH.
Yes. And no surprise, it was the Puppygate fight with Kyle Richards.
The moment she told Kyle to get the F out of Villa Rosa, still iconic, really.
Absolutely. And the core of it was Kyle accusing Lisa of leaking stories about Dorit Kemsley and that dog to the press.
Which Lisa fiercely denied, right? But Kyle just didn't buy it.
Exactly. And that disbelief, that breakdown of trust, I mean, that was basically the end of their friendship right there on camera.
You can't forget Ken Todd stepping in with goodbye, Kyle. Just wow.
Peak reality TV drama. And Lisa says she has absolutely no regrets about how that went down.
What's also interesting is who she would want to reconnect with. You know, Yolanda, Adrienne, Denise, Taylor, Camille, even Carlton Gebbia.
But definitely not Kyle, Dorit, or Erica Jane. And Puppygate, just for anyone who needs a quick refresher, involved a dog adopted from Vanderpump dogs that somehow ended up in a shelter.
Leading to all those accusations that Lisa orchestrated the whole thing to make Dorit look bad.
Right. It dominated the season and, well, it was pretty much the catalyst for Lisa leaving the show.
Okay. Next update we have about Kyle Richards, actually, and her friendship with Morgan Wade.
Yeah, Reality Blurb noted Kyle showing some love on Instagram after Morgan's ACM Awards appearance, called her beautiful.
It fits a pattern, doesn't it? We saw the fire emojis on that selfie before.
And Kyle was apparently a big support during Morgan's preventative double mastectomy last year, back in November.
Seems like a genuinely close bond, going beyond just, you know, surface-level celebrity stuff.
Well, and Morgan recently shared quite a bit about her health struggles with interstitial cystitis, IC.
Oh, right, I saw that. She talked about loads of urologist visits, steroid treatments. It sounded rough.
It really did.
She mentioned this anabolic fasting diet really turned things around for her, said she feels amazing now, doesn't need the bladder treatments.
Yeah, and even found a new love for working out because of it. And Kyle was right there, like in that post too. Okay, next update we have about Paige DeSorbo. She was talking about her ex, Craig Conover, and his reported new romance with Natalie Buffett.
On her Giggly Squad podcast, right?
Her observation that, like, every guy she breaks up with immediately dates a blonde after.
Yeah. And she sees that as proof they weren't meant to be?
Pretty much. It wasn't just about Craig, but a pattern.
And she tied it back to other things, like modeling jobs.
Yeah, she mentioned being passed over for blondes in modeling, and even some, like, childhood memory about her dad and a blonde kid at his car wash. She jokingly called it trauma.
So it's kind of a running theme in her head, this whole blonde thing.
Seems like it. And you have to remember the context. She and Craig split near the end of 2024. Weren't there rumors he was surprised, maybe even bought a ring?
Yeah, so her comments probably have a few layers to them. It's not just, oh, he's dating someone new.
Exactly.
Okay, let's shift gears. Big news, or maybe non-news, about the Real Housewives of New York City.
Right. RHONY is on an indefinite pause. No solid plans for season 16.
That's pretty major. Any reasons floating around?
Yeah, reports suggest ratings dipped, which is often a factor. It's tough out there for any show to keep momentum.
True. So many options for viewers now.
And it sounds like Bravo is trying to figure it out. An insider told Page 6 they believe there's still life in it, but they're weighing options.
They did that huge cast reboot for season 14.
They did. And remember the whole RHONY legacy idea with the OGs like Ramona, Luan, Sanja, Dorinda.
Which then became an Ultimate Girls Trip season instead.
Exactly. So they've definitely been trying different things to capture that New York magic again.
One of the interesting tidbits is that they're reportedly having trouble casting new women.
Yeah, that insider mentioned potential recruits are worried. Worried about, like, ruined marriages, their kids' lives ruined, their businesses ruined.
Wow, that really puts the potential downside of reality TV fame into perspective. It's a huge gamble.
It really is. So finding people willing to sign up for that, especially after seeing what can happen, it's probably getting harder.
Even though Shed Media put out that casting call earlier this year.
Right, but the current status seems very up in the air. Bravo's official line is just, nothing is official, the show hasn't been canceled.
Leaves the door open but doesn't promise anything.
And this pause is happening alongside the reported pause for Real Housewives of New Jersey, too.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you wonder if there's a bigger strategy shift happening at Bravo.
Maybe. And then Sai De Silva from the rebooted cast actually addressed the rumors on Instagram.
She did. She confirmed they're not filming right now.
But she sounded pretty positive, thanking her castmates, saying nothing's wrong or canceled.
Yeah, trying to project confidence, maybe. She posted a picture with most of the cast: Raquel, Jenna, Yuba, Jessel, Aaron.
But not Bryn Whitfield.
Nope. And given the reported drama between Bryn and Yuba at the end of last season, her absence is noticeable. Could mean something, could mean nothing.
Plus, we already knew Rebecca Minkoff wasn't coming back.
Right. And there was that report back in February saying none of the season 14 cast had actually been asked back or gotten contracts yet.
So the casting call went out while the existing cast's future was still totally uncertain.
Pretty much sums up the confusion around RHONY right now. Lots of moving parts, very little clarity. Okay, next update we have about the Giudice family over in New Jersey.
What's happening there?
Reality Blurb is reporting that Teresa's youngest, Audriana, who's 15 now, mentioned on Teresa's podcast she's interested in Botox and cosmetology.
Wow, okay. I mean, growing up watching RHONJ...
Right. It's probably seemed pretty normal to her. She apparently mentioned remembering Teresa complaining about how much the injections cost.
And thought, that sounds like a good way to make money.
Basically, yeah. Thinking it seemed like a good job, and Teresa seems okay with it.
Yeah, it sounds like Teresa was supportive, even suggested maybe looking into nursing as a related field.
Which is practical advice.
Yeah.
Get some medical background.
Audriana apparently acknowledged nursing is a good background, but was a bit hesitant about, all the schooling and the tests.
Understandable for a teenager thinking about careers. We also found out she's planning to go to the University of Miami.
Oh, nice. Down in Florida. It's interesting seeing where all the Giudice girls are ending up. Gia's working with a lawyer.
Gabriella's at University of Michigan. Melania is heading to University of Tampa.
They're all taking different paths.
For sure. Despite the whole family living life so publicly, they're becoming their own people. Audriana's interest is just the latest chapter.
Okay, one more piece of drama to unpack. This one involves a cross-show clash.
We've got Michelle Saniei and Scheana Shay from The Valley versus Tamra Judge and Teddi Mellencamp from OC in Beverly Hills.
The Bravo worlds colliding. So Tamra and Teddi said what on their podcast? 2 T's in a pod.
They apparently weren't fans of Michelle's vibe on The Valley. Tamra said Michelle sucks the air out of every scene.
Ouch. Did Teddi agree?
Oh, yeah. Tamra even wondered if Michelle was AI because she seemed unemotional, and Teddi joked she missed Botox watching Michelle.
That's pretty harsh.
They mentioned watching a scene like a gratitude circle where Jesse Lally got emotional, but they felt Michelle didn't show much sentiment.
Okay, so how did Michelle react?
She clapped back on Instagram, pretty sarcastically, saying yes, she is a real person, and mentioned she's dealing with a nasty divorce and her mom having chemo.
Oof. And she specifically addressed the Botox comment.
You said she's never had it.
Yep.
So safe to say, Tamra and Teddi's comments definitely hit a nerve.
Understandably.
And then Scheana Shay jumped in to defend Michelle.
Her Valley castmate. What did Scheana say?
She basically called out Tamra and Teddi for lacking compassion, said people who actually know Michelle understand what she's going through.
And she hinted there's more to the story.
Yeah, she said there's always more to the story than shown, and kind of implied the full picture regarding Jesse isn't out there yet.
Interesting. Scheana also seemed to defend Michelle's storyline beyond the divorce, mentioning scenes with her boyfriend Aaron Nosler.
Right, responding to a fan page. Just trying to show Michelle has more going on than just the drama with Jesse.
Well, that covers a lot of ground for today's reality TV landscape. If you want to stay on top of all these developments and get more insights like these, make sure you subscribe to RealT2V. And definitely hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on our future updates.
It helps you keep track of all the connections.
Thank you for watching this video. See you tomorrow.